I'm Brian Smith, Sony Artisan of Imagery. Today we're talking about shooting location portrait photography. First off, the location itself and what the background does to enhance your shot. Second, working with your subject and how to get them to relax. As a portrait photographer, I love shooting on location because it gives me something extra to work with. Suddenly, the background is a part of the scene instead of just a blank white canvas like you've got behind me right now. I love being able to incorporate both elements of the background with the subject, and whether that reveals more about the subject because it gives you an idea of where they're from, or it's somehow in contrast with the subject, it just adds an extra element to the photograph. A lot of the people that I photograph, I can't necessarily bring to me. I've got to go to them. I photograph a lot of celebrities at home, on set. Wherever they want me is where I go. So when I have a chance to pick the location, a lot of times it starts with where we're going to do the shoot. I'm a big advocate to getting in early and scouting. So if I'm photographing a CEO or a star or something, if I can go there the day before and look around the scene. One of the things that you can do to kind of tweak things is look for that shot that is unusual. So whenever I'm shooting CEOs, it's the last place in the world that I want to shoot typically is their office. It's like there's so many pictures of CEOs at their desk. Like obviously they've got the biggest desk in the place, but that's not really that interesting. Sometimes I've photographed them on loading docks, on the production line, wherever we can, where it kind of gets them in a little bit more of an element, maybe even where the end product is used, finding something that's different and maybe they haven't been photographed before. Also, if you can do something that's kind of interesting for them, even if you've got them for 15 minutes, if they can be interested in and engaged for that 15 minutes of time, it's always better than getting somebody who's bored with the process. If I'm shooting on a set, I may not necessarily shoot right in the middle of the set because it's breaking everything up, but I'm looking for that, something that reveals something about the filmmaking process, just something that catches my eye. If you're shooting on a film set, it's always good to kind of pick something where you're not in the way, because typically a lot of times you're going to get the talent at a 5-minute break between scenes. So if you can do that where you're out of everybody's way, sometimes that 5 minutes becomes 15. So going in early, seeing what really strikes my eye. Generally, I'm looking for something relatively clean, but with some interest in it as well. So you're not looking for necessarily the most distracting background, but you want something that enhances the photograph as well. It's always a great luxury to go back and photograph someone you've photographed before, but the reality, a lot of the people that I'm shooting, it may be the first time that I've ever met them. So I try to learn a little bit about them. It could be from the CEO, I'm finding out from his assistant, like some dirt on him, something that we can talk about. With any type of people in the arts, you can always do Google searches and find a ton of information. But I'm not looking for the really typical thing that, for instance, their filmography, they've talked about that so much. I'm looking for the thing that's unusual, like it may be where they grew up, it may be a hobby or a talent that people don't normally associate with them. We could even just be talking about what was the first thing that inspired them when they got into the arts, and those moments of awakening. Instead of thinking about like, oh, gee, I've got to do publicity for my new film, suddenly they're transported to the moment that their love and passion for the arts was awakened. So I think with anyone that you're photographing, getting them to a point where they're thinking about something that's very pleasurable for them just puts them in the right frame of mind. So a lot of times when I'm photographing high-profile people, whether they're CEOs or actors, I love it when I get an hour with somebody, but the reality is a lot of times I'm shooting in 30 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes on a shoot. And that's an instance where you really want to be completely ready when your subject shows up. So it really pays off. You get in there early, scout, figure out exactly what you want to do. A lot of times we'll pre-light 2 different situations. So the subject stands in for a minute or two in one situation, we move them on to the next. And I've done 5-minute shoots where we've gotten 3 setups done that way. Also, remember to move in and out. That's another way. It's like editors love to have a lot of choices. So if I'm shooting somebody full body, a lot of times I'll come in and try to do a headshot. If I'm shooting a headshot, I back off and put a little bit of space around the person just for that different point of view. It's really important to know your gear. Just like a musician who practices their scales on and on and on, it's like knowing what your gear is going to do before you get out on a shoot allows you just to really concentrate on what's in front of your lens, not the menu settings on your camera. So spend the time to get to know what all the menu settings do, figure out how your lights work, everything like that. So the moment you've got someone in front of a camera, all of your attention, every bit of it, is focused on them, not on how to set things up or settings you want to change. They should be like muscle memory. You should just jump into the changes that you want to get the effect that you need. 3 keys to a successful portrait shoot is get there early to scout, set up and pre-light so when your subject shows up, you're ready to go, and know your gear so all of your attention is focused on your subject. It all begins with your location, picking your background to enhance your shot, and finally, learning how to work with your subject and make them relax. So find a subject, pick a great background, and get out there and take some great location portraits.